A problem that is sometimes complained of is that people like my persona, but they don't really like me because they don't know who I am. What might that mean? It might mean that a person learns to portray some or another character, basically in the same, perhaps essential sense that an actor or actress portrays somebody in a movie, in a TV show, in a play. And then other people may even respond positively to that character. And yet it does not really bring the person any kind of satisfaction or happiness because he or she knows or suspects, if it's not fully allowed into consciousness, that what other people are seeing and consequently what they're liking is not truly, quote unquote, truly them. Let's try to break all that down and figure out what is there to reasonably say on these matters. So, one approach could be to ask ourselves, what is the essence of acting? Like, what does it mean when we say that an actor or actress, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, whatever the case might be, what does it mean that they are acting a role? How is that different than real life? So, acting would seem to involve portraying um, emotional and mental states such that do not spontaneously arise and do not arise essentially in light of the character that the actor or actress really has, but such that are simulated in view of some exterior objective, such as the desire to be a superstar or a D-list actor or actress, if somebody wants specifically that. Let's say the desire to make money, the love of uh, the genre or the skill of acting, right? Meaning, let's say that in question is a script that calls for me to cry because uh, my parent in this play has passed away. Right? Now, in real life, that would be a real situation that would call up real, spontaneous emotions in view of who I really am, myself, such as is the child of this parent, who perhaps cared about that parent, and now who has a natural, uncoerced reaction to news of that parent's passing. In the context of, say, the play, right, or the movie, whatever it is, that is all made up. I don't have, my parent is not in this play. It's portrayed by somebody else. That role is portrayed, excuse me, by somebody else. That person did not really, very hopefully, die. Consequently, my natural spontaneous reaction to that real situation as it really is, say once the cameras are cut off, is just laughter or just hanging around or whatever. It would have nothing to do with crying, with bawling one's eyes out. So I have to simulate that. I have to pretend as if this character was my parent and as if they did pass away and as if I did have this emotion, and perhaps I can even, depending maybe on the acting method, however it works, perhaps I can even call up a genuine emotion after putting in front of my imagination kind of this constructed case. This is my parent, and this parent passed away. And that's what acting would mean. Right? If, however, say the camera is on and I have genuine spontaneous emotions, maybe a scene has really struck home because it resonates with what happened in my own real life. That's not acting, right? That's me being genuine, and it's just that it happened to be captured on camera. If I'm portraying a real skill on camera, right? Let's say something simple like walking. What does it mean? You're acting that you're walking. Maybe you're acting overall, and this scene requires walking, but walking is a real thing that you're really doing, right? But if you are, with the help of CGI or whatever it's called, electronics, with the help of a stunt man or woman doing something that you could never do, but it appears that way, right? Or maybe you're reading scripted lines of math and you don't know any math, right? But you have to portray a math professor. That would be acting because you're simulating it. So we get the point. So the essence of acting would seem to be portraying, at least for the moment, um, a scene, a persona, emotions, words, which are not in light of my character as it really is, which are not really spontaneous and appropriate to the situation as it really is, which I am kind of forcibly putting out there for some or another particular purpose. Now, how that would apply in real life, well, everything's real life, but outside of the sphere of acting or whatnot, outside of the sphere of plays and movies, how that would apply in real life would be that it is certainly possible that my character is X, right? And yet I act as if my character was Y. My beliefs are X, but I act as if my beliefs were Y. My true ideas, my true understandings concerning other people, myself, the world are X, and I act as if they were Y. And by act can mean actions, like I, push something or someone, or it could mean speech. I say something. Right? So in here, what could be said is that for one, it is perfectly okay, not only okay, it's perfectly necessary generally to wear many different hats. Right? And that would not be the same thing as what is here in question as this kind of acting. But when we wear different hats in life and it's not acting, when it is genuine, it would seem to be that we are always acting in light of our character as it really is. But it's just that we are directing ourselves in a particular direction. We're kind of streamlining ourselves based on what's appropriate. We are playing a different role in view of the person that we're dealing with, but that role is played in light of our character as it really is always. So let's say, for example, that my character can be correctly, genuinely described as kind. I can be kind in the capacity of a parent, in the capacity of a spouse, in the capacity of a teacher, if I'm a teacher, in the capacity of a student, if I'm a student, in the capacity of a boss, in the capacity of a subordinate, in the capacity of a stranger, in the capacity of somebody that sits next to somebody on the plane or on the bus. Any amount of roles. Right? But it's not acting because I really am kind and I'm simply expressing that kindness as appropriate given the role in question. To be kind as a parent might demand discipline. It might demand giving a timeout. To be kind as a friend might demand simply lending a listening ear. To be kind as a boss might mean firing somebody that's incompetent for the job because they're not going to really help themselves in this capacity and saying, go find something else, and so on. But it's a real trait, right, which I really have, and I'm simply expressing it in different ways. So now, having said that, that's the appropriate type of quote unquote acting, putting on different roles, putting on different hats, we might say, playing different roles. The inappropriate type of acting and the acting that people do find problematic concerning themselves and or others would be that of, as was mentioned, I have character X, but I pretend that I have character Y. I'm not really kind, and I act as if I was kind. And frequently that really is what is going on. The self that I in truth have is yet um, shall we say, a little bit white belt, a little bit elementary. It's not yet worked out. It is quite aggressive and alienated and antisocial. It is quick to be offended. It is quick to hate. It is quick to feel pride, and vanity. It is quick to um, act on its desires or have very strong, selfish, self centered desires which must be satisfied at any and all expenses. That is my real character as it really is now. And yet, if I express that real character in any role, as a parent, as a child, as a friend, as a spouse, as a boss, as a subordinate, as a stranger, then I figure out by some point that I would get negative reactions. And consequently, I play a role. I pretend as if my character was Y, something other than what it is. It might also be not that my true self here, so to speak, my real character is antisocial or is vicious. It might just be not very, shall we say, strong, not very cool. I might be, in truth, a little bit corny. I might be scared of other people. I might be scared of other people's opinions. I might really overthink things. I might really be extremely sensitive. But I also get negative reactions from that. So I act as if that was not so. I'll act as if I don't care that you read me, or excuse me, leave me unread on my text messages. I'll act as if I don't care that I'm not invited somewhere. I'll act as if I don't care what your opinion is when I do. All these different things. And obviously, we could keep going. I'll act as if I like you, as if I don't like you, whatever the case might be. So, what here is the issue, and what is the possible solution, or how do we move towards the solution? The issue would be not the acting in and of its own self, which might be a pragmatic necessity. If it is the case that at present I am very alienated from others and I am very aggressive, it is correct that if I act that out, if I act as my true self, quote unquote, I will quickly get in trouble. At least I could get fired from my job. My significant other or spouse can leave me. My kids can hate me. So I got that right. I do need to act. Well, what then should I do all the while that I am acting? Try to change my character to conform to what it ought to be. That's not inauthentic. That is courageous and heroic. If my character right now, as it really is poor, right? If I am alienated from others, if I am excessively selfish and self-centered and vain and proud and so forth, right? That's my true self in some sense, but in some other sense, it's not my true self because it's not what I could be and what I should be. Therefore, addressing that and trying to change that is not inauthentic. That is the whole point of human life. That's what it means to be a human being, to be striving that way, to be really, truly better. So I shouldn't feel fake and fraudulent for trying to change myself and in the meantime acting as if I was somebody else, assuming that I am trying to change myself, assuming that I am moving in that right direction, or at least acknowledging the desirability of so doing. The problem, really lies when I'm acting as if I was somebody else and I deny who I really am. I deny those traits and those qualities. I'm not aware of them at all. I block them out. I project them. I see them in others. Whatever I have to do. That's really the issue. Acting is a pragmatic necessity in the meantime, right? So that I don't get fired from work, so that I can have relationships and so forth. Now, as it concerns, that's maybe a little bit where my true self, so to speak, is a little bit more on the antisocial, malignant side. If my true self, however, is simply, or in addition to that, whatever the case might be, immature, right? Not very socialized, not very stable, not very cool, we could say, as was said, it would be the same idea. There's nothing good, right? There's nothing complimentary about insisting that that corny little self of mine remain itself and then be liked and respected by others. We see that sometimes that is the solution that a person seeks. I'm tired of acting. I'm going to be my quote unquote true self in this way, but my true self is just a cheese ball. My true self is soft, My true self is weak. My true self is erratic. My true self is hardly anything at all. Right, now let me find other people like me, and let's all be in a club together, and we'll pat each other on the back. Let me find a partner that will accept me for me in this way, right, that'll see me, all that weakness, and see all of that corniness, and see all of that silliness, right, and then love me for me. That is also problematic because then I have no incentive to change. Oh, this is me. Just accept me for me. No, the whole point and purpose again of human life is to improve our character, or at least what would lead us to it, the point and purpose of human life. So in this case, too, acknowledge kind of where I'm at as it concerns my maturation and socialization. And further, it's also fine to act in the meantime in a transactional way. There's no great, excuse me, moral demand to wear one's heart on one's sleeve, to always be acting again weak and silly and so forth. To ask every person, what do you think about me? Because that's really how I feel. I'm always concerned about everybody's opinions. To ask every person that passes me, what do you think of how I look today? There's no need for that. I could act, right? I can put on my socialized persona for the streets, right, or for work, whatever the case might be, no problem. The same thing. Acknowledge what I'm really like. Expose that gradually to the world. Allow it to weather, meaning allow it to be shaped and molded by the world, by the stimuli that I encounter. And gradually, hopefully, I'll mature and I'll be less corny and I'll be more in conformity with my ideal. So the common theme here seems to be self-awareness and authenticity. It is not to say that I should stop all acting. That is not practical and usually not desirable, but be aware when I am acting. Be aware when my character is X and I'm acting as if my character was Y. Be aware when my beliefs are X, but I'm acting as if they were Y, and so forth. Act if I need to. In the meantime, well, the while that I'm acting, acknowledge that X, meaning what my character is really like, what my beliefs are really like, what my ideas are really like. Examine them, expose them at least to self-criticism, and expose them to the world. Allow myself to mature, allow myself to progress. Don't deny it. And that way, hopefully, a time will come when to be my true self is not to be negative in any of the aforementioned ways. To be my true self is to be a self such as is good for me and good for others, and the way that I then act spontaneously in view of that self will hopefully likewise be a boon. So we can think about it. Thank you for listening.